Hi everyone, Sailor Saturn, Sailor Ringworld, Ataru here, and today we're going to talk about, Google Android. Now, now everyone wants to know, can Google Android do things that Apple iOS cannot, or are they about the same? Now, I know that someone's going to say that, oh, well, Google Android doesn't got Siri. Yeah, that that seeking tool that helps you look up things, I guess. Well, it's not a big deal. And need be Google Android doesn't start up with a big Apple thing in the beginning, but oh well. Well, beyond those two little things, Google Android can do everything that Apple iOS can do. Film, yes. Take likenesses, yes. Go on the interweb, yes. Send wires and texts and tides, yes. Um, uh, Play films, yeah, it would be a yes. It can run tools. Google Android runs tools that come from Google Play. Apple iOS runs tools that come from Apple Shop. But beyond that, yeah, that's a yes to everything. Now, no one has ever watched any of my films and ever told me that I was wrong about any of those things. Now, it seems that a lot of folks, and maybe this just happens when it comes to films and shows and plays, there always seems to be a lot of Apple shit around. But I guess they have to work with what they have, you know? And everyone always talks about how everyone always likes to, talk about Apple's iSpeaker, or at least scathe it for not shifting anything. Well, Google Android far speakers don't really shift all that much either. You can get one that's made by Life Goods or Samsoft or Salvamania, I would guess, and Motorola. And yes, they're about the same. Not much of unlikeness beyond the cast, Or you get one that's made by Google itself, called a Pixel, you know. And yes, a lot of folks do tend to scathe Apple for not really putting a lot of thought into the Apple iSpeaker, either by shifting the cast or giving it just one little thing. But that can be said for any far wide speaker made by anyone, LG, Motorola, Samsoft, or even Google themselves. So you shouldn't just gild Apple for it. Now, at the end of the day, I believe, in my belief, that Google Android can do anything that Apple iOS can do. Yeah, that's true. We don't got some fake mind tool named Siri that goes around and helps you look up shit. That's true. And it's true that when you got Google Android, you don't have an Apple thing loading. Mostly you get this thing that starts up saying Smart Shield, Think Shield, that sticks there for a long time. And then it says hello undying if it's Motorola. If it's from LG or Samsoft or Google, it might say something else. And whoever is giving your interweb feed name might pop up. So yeah. So those little things right there might be the unlikeness. Yes, Google does give updates for Google Android as well as the Google Play Shop. They don't do them every month. Same thing. So updates are the same thing between Google Android and Apple iOS. So I most likely covered everything that both things can do. But at the end of the day, it's what you like, what you can afford, and what gets smooth to work. So that's my belief. Now I know, I don't know, but it's not like someone is going to come on this film after it's done uploading for laying and become playable and say that I am wrong about some of the things that one can do or the other, well then tell me. Because if you say Siri and loading up the Apple thing, yeah, Google Android doesn't have those two things. But those are just small things, you know. At the end of the day, anything that Apple iOS can do, Google Android can do too. Well, the only thing they both can't do is they can't download each other's shit. You know, Google Android can only download and work with Google things, and Apple iOS can only download and work with Apple things. Meaning, it has to come from either the Google Play Shop or the Apple Shop. That's what I mean to say. Both of them are download friendly when it comes to tools that come from either one of their shops, though. Yes, both of them can be hacked. You know, both of them got bugs and things in it that hackers can hack. So both Google Android and Apple iOS can be hacked. How often? How I don't know. Anyway, that's all the time I have. Tell me what you think, and I'll see you later.